Hey, Cookie Cats, how you doing? Sorry I've been away so long. We've had some technical difficulties. Frankly, Lindsay hasn't been feeling too well. She came down with a rare disease. She contracted Frank Miller-Tourette syndrome recently, so we haven't been able to produce any videos. Lindsay, are you feeling better?
I am feeling better. Thanks for asking.
She's still, getting over it. Anyway, I have some new comic books to review, and as usual, they're brought to you by my own comic book, Red Knight from Primal Paper Comics. The links are below where you can hit on the primalpapercomics.com or Manos Publishing at Etsy.com. And I'll have actually some, speaking of that, I will have some new updates about the comic book very soon. I actually will post a video about it later this week. Now, let's get to some comics here. I have two from Image and one from Marvel. Let's start with that Marvel. It is Daredevil! There's no Daredevil theme. There needs to be some kind of Daredevil theme. Everybody else has their theme. Alright. Brought to you, this is issue 3 from Mark Waid and Chris Sinede. And last we left our hero, he's in San Francisco. He's set up shop since he no longer has a license to practice law in New York City. And he is just as much a lawyer as he is a superhero, so he found the new home, San Francisco, which is actually a really cool setting, frankly. And I'm kind of excited to see more comic books set in the city. It's actually a really cool locale. Anyway, last we saw, he came across, let's see, the Shroud or the Hood or whatever that guy calls himself. Anyway, he is also at a war with the Owl. The Owl has coincidentally set up shop a few months prior to Matt Murdock coming. So now instantly these guys are not hitting it off so well. They agree to set up a trap for the Owl, but we think the joke will be on Mr. Murdock. Meanwhile, Foggy finally makes his appearance in the series in a very, very hilarious scene. Hey, he's like in disguise and everything. The art, as usual, by Mr. Sinede, tells the story beautifully, and it has a nice mixture of realism and cartooniness. Tells the story really great. Has a nice, effective atmosphere, as usual. I mean, what a great book. This is, hands down, the best superhero title out there now. 5 RAM chips. Go check it out. I really like the way Mark Waid is exploring the new status quo, and I hope he stays in San Francisco for a good long time, frankly. I like this idea. I know he was very connected to New York City and Hell's Kitchen, and I'm sure he'll eventually move back for whatever reason. But I hope it's longer than 2 years or a story arc or something like that. I really dig this. Check it out. Now, let's move on to Image. And I'm going to do this one. Oh, Lindsay has not read these books, so I'm going to be very kind of non-specific as far as the plots are concerned. This is Rocketgirl number 5, and this is the final issue of the first story arc with Rocketgirl. Now, actually, I'm planning to do a full review of the first story arc, so I'm actually going to be a little brief on this one anyway. But let's see, Rocketgirl is kind of at the edge of being either successful or completely arrested and destroyed at everything. Meanwhile, her compatriots in the future of 2013 are butting heads with the evil corporation. Will she escape and succeed? Will she be able to stop the invention from getting done? It's comic books. But let me just say, this issue actually took a little while longer, I think, to publish. It's probably because it's a thicker issue, and also the art is extremely detailed. Let me just talk about the art for a second. All these background characters are really nicely detailed. The action sequences are terrific, particularly the elevator escape scene. I just love... This book looks like a richly expensive animated film from maybe the 80s. I mean, it has such a great 80s feel to the series without really going too far and pushing it or anything like that. I just love this title. I'm very, very happy with it. Congratulations to Amy Reeder and Branton Montclair. You did a really good first story arc, and I will be talking about the first 5 issues in a full review, I don't know, maybe next week or something like that. 5 RAM chips, pick this up, pick up the whole series. And lastly, we have the newest issue of Saga, Chapter 19. And this is, as normal, Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. And I was not going to read this during eating. We have comics in lunch, and I've gotten into the habit of not eating while reading this book. I'll eat first and, read Daredevil or, Captain Marvel or whatever. And then, once I'm finished, then I'll get to Saga. And that's usually a pretty good decision. And that actually, when I opened up the first page, was like, oh, yeah, that was probably a good idea. And let's see, essentially, we are starting a new story arc and kind of a new status quo in a way. It's been at least a year or two since the last issue. We've jumped in time, and our family has grown up a little bit, and they've kind of been in hiding. So they're off on this other planet. We're seeing them in their kind of new lives. Meanwhile, there are questions lingering, like what happened to Prince Robot, and where are the others? Are they will the bounty hunters be coming for our heroes? And then at the last line of this narration, really kind of is a punch to the gut. Which actually I've noticed that's kind of been a thing with the narration on this book. Sneaky bastard, Brian K. Vaughan. Fantastic. This is probably... Yeah, Daredevil's the best superhero book being published right now, but I think this is probably the best title being published right now. This is an excellent series. Check it out now. 5 RAM chips. Well, suffice to say it was a pretty good week, so go get these books, and if you have any comments about what you read this week or any of these books you read, please let me know, and I'd be happy to hear it. Anyway, push the button, Lindsay.